Shalom, peace. It's your brother Gabar. This is Intelligent Hebrew. Today's lesson is to you so-called black people scattered to the four corners of the earth because of the transatlantic and Arab slave trade. You're the children of Israel. You're God's chosen people. You're the Israelites, the God that Moses led out of Egypt. You are the true Jews that the Bible talks about. You're God's children, according to the scripture. Today's lesson is the world is yours. It's probably going to be pretty quick. But we have to understand that today's state that the world is in, we've never been in our natural status of ruling the world and governing the world and teaching the world and leading the world and guiding the world and directing the world and protecting the world by way of the Most High God's laws, statutes, and commandments, that's really how it's supposed to be. Let's get that real quick. Give me 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 5. 1 Peter 2 and 5. And it reads thus. You are a chosen generation. 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 9. You are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, a peculiar people, that you should show forth the praises of him who hath called you out of darkness into a marvelous light. We're a priesthood. Our whole nation is supposed to be a priesthood. That's why it says a royal priesthood and holy nation. Right? Let's go to Exodus 19 and 5 real quick. This is the book of Exodus, chapter 19, verse 5. Now, therefore, if you obey my voice, indeed, the word indeed broken up into two words is in and deed, as in action or in your works or in how you do things and in what you do. That is your deed. And keep my covenant. So we have to obey his voice and keep his covenant in our deeds, in our actions, in our works. Then you shall be a peculiar means special or different, treasure unto me above all people for all the earth is mine. So if we keep his covenant and we obey his voice in our deeds, in our actions, then he'll put us above all the people that are on the face of the earth, right? But how we're going to be over his people, we're going to be above all the people as what? Verse 6 explained it. And you shall be unto me a kingdom of priests and a holy nation. These are the words which thou shalt speak unto the children of Israel. So you so-called black people scattered to the four corners of the earth because of the transatlantic, Arab, and Indian slave trade. You are the true Jews. You are the children of Israel that is spoken of in Exodus chapter 19, verse 6. You are a kingdom of priests, a holy nation. Go back to First Peter chapter 2, verse 9. You are the chosen generation. You are the royal priesthood. You are the holy nation. You are the peculiar people. So he's talking to us. So remember, Exodus 19 and 5 says that we're going to be above all the people. And then verse 6 says we're going to be as kings, as a kingdom of priests, right? And so and let's go to Revelation chapter 1 and 5 real quick. Just so you can understand, the world is ours, Israel. You so-called black people scattered to the four corners of the earth. The world is ours. It's just waiting for us to come back and recognize who we are, what we gotta do to get back to our real status, our true status of who we're supposed to be, and so we could be it, right? Revelation chapter 1, and I'm going to verse 5. From whom Jesus Christ, or his true Hebrew, how you say it in Hebrew, is Yahweh Shai HaMashiach, who is the faithful witness and the forgotten of the dead, and the prince of the kings of the earth, unto him that loved us and washed us from our sins in his own blood, and hath made us kings and priests unto God and his Father. To him to be glory and dominion forever and ever. Stay in Revelation. Let's chapter 5, verse 10. We're going to precept that, and then we're going to move around. Revelation chapter 5, verse 10. And it reads thus. And hast made us unto our God, and unto the Most High God, Yahweh, kings and priests, and we shall reign on the earth. This word reign is not spelled R-A-I-N, like rain, the water that comes out the sky. This reign means that we're going to rule, right? R-E-I-G-N. That is reign, as in we're going to rule, right? Or we're going to lead the earth, right? So this is what we're supposed to do. So the world is ours. The world is yours. So-called black people scattered to the four corners of the earth. The world is yours. You are the children of Israel. You are these true Jews. But we're supposed to be a righteous nation, leading, reigning on this earth by way of the Most High God's laws, statutes, and commandments, which is righteousness, right? Let's get that Deuteronomy 6:25 real quick. Y'all know me. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 6, verse 25, and it reads as thus. And it shall be our righteousness if we observe to do all these commandments before the Lord our God, as he hath commanded us. So it's going to be righteousness for us if we keep these commandments, right? This is what we have to do. This is righteousness for us. Look, Deuteronomy chapter 13, verse 18. When thou shalt hearken to the voice of the Lord thy God, to keep all his commandments, which I command thee this day, to do that which is right in the eyes of the Lord your God. This is what we have to do. What is right in the Lord's in the eyes of our Lord God, in the eyes of the Most High God, Yahweh, right? And what is right in his eyes? The law, statutes, and commandments. He gave them to us. He gave them to us by way of Moses, and it is more than just 10 commandments. But we have to understand that that is what is right in his eyes, right? Let's go to Romans real quick. Oh, I was going in the wrong area. I'm sorry, y'all. Going too fast. Next, let's go to Romans, the book of Romans, chapter 10. It says, I bear them record that they have a zeal of God. We have an excitement. We have a love. That's what zeal is. Love, excitement, or passion, right? So we have an excitement and passion of God, but not according to knowledge. What does that mean? That we do have that feeling and that emotion about God, but we don't know anything about God, right? It's like a basketball fan who on the outside, they can watch the game all they want, and they love to see people dribble and shoot and pass and dunk the ball, but they really don't know how to play the game. That's the difference. We need to know how to play the game. We need to know God, right? For all of you who are in relationships, especially those us men, you can't say you're in a relationship with a woman if you don't know what food she can and can't eat, or what food she likes or dislikes. If she likes horrors, if she likes comedies, if she likes romances, if she's argumentative, if she's stubborn, if she's submissive and easygoing. You don't know her. So then you don't know how to react to her. And guess what? As soon as she, and it ain't gonna take no long time, but as soon as she knows that and realizes and recognizes that, your relationship is on the rocks or it's over, because you don't know her according to knowledge. You have a zeal about her, but guess what that would be called? That would be called an infatuation or a lust, right? Because you have a physical or some kind of emotional thing there, but there's no knowledge there. There's no spirit connected to it, right? And that's what the Most High is saying, that we have a zeal of the Most High. We have an excitement or a passion about it, but we don't have no spiritual connection there, right? So so we have a zeal of God, but not according to knowledge. For they being ignorant of God's righteousness, we just read Deuteronomy 6:25, that keeping God's commandments and his laws is righteousness. And going about to establish, so for they being ignorant of God's righteousness and going about to establish their own righteousness, have not submitted themselves to the righteousness of God. And so the world will be ours when we submit ourselves to the righteousness of God, because then the other nations, the other people will then be following suit, right? Let's go to Zechariah chapter 8, verse 20. The book of Zechariah chapter 8, verse 20. This is the book of Zechariah chapter 8, verse 20, and it reads as thus. Thus saith Yahweh, it shall come to pass, so it's a future prophecy, that there shall come people and the inhabitants of many cities. So a lot of people are going to come, from Beijing, from what is it? Sao Paulo, from New York City, from I don't know what London, from Madagascar. People gonna be coming from everywhere, right? That's why it says that there shall come people and the inhabitants of many cities. Verse 21. And the inhabitants of one city, so somebody who they're gonna come from Los Angeles, shall go into another. They're gonna go from Los Angeles, they're gonna go to Cairo in Egypt, saying, let us go speedily to pray before the Lord and to seek the Lord of hosts. So Somebody gonna come from Los Angeles, they're gonna go to Cairo and Egypt, and they're gonna say, man, we gotta find God. We gotta go, let's go find out what God really says about this and how God said we're supposed to live, right? Then he says, you know what? The dude in Cairo is going to look at the dude from Los Angeles and say, yeah, you know what? I'll go with you. Let's do that, right? Verse 22. Yea, many people and strong nations. So all these different nations of people, all the different nationalities, all the different races, right? Shall come to seek the Lord of hosts in Jerusalem and to pray before the Lord. Thus saith the Lord of hosts. So this is what the Most High said. I didn't say this. This is what the Most High said. It shall, in those days, it shall come to pass. So he's saying, in time, down the line, this is a future prophecy, right? In those days, it shall come to pass that 10 men shall take hold out of all languages of nations. So it's going to be 10 people that's going to be Japanese, 10 people with Chinese, 10 people that's going to be Russian, and 10 people that's going to be Ethiopian, 10 people that's going to be Arabs, 10 that's going to be Iranians. They're going to be all these different nationalities, right? What are all these different nationalities going to do? It shall come to pass in those days that 10 men shall take hold out of all languages of the nations, even shall take hold of the skirt of him that is a Jew. The Jew is you so-called black man scattered to the four corners of the earth. You so-called black woman scattered to the four corners of the earth because of the transatlantic and Arab and Indian slave trade. You are the true Jews that the Bible talks about. Not that Judaism speaks on, that this Bible talks about, right? It says, the skirt of him that is you, they're going to be holding on to your clothes. They're going to be holding on, cleaving to you, saying, we will go with you, for we have heard that God is with you. So they're going to be coming to you, so-called black man, to come learn about God, to come understand what God really said, to understand how to live a godly, righteous, and holy life, right? They're going to be coming to you. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 2. Isaiah chapter 2. Let me get verse 1. Start at verse 1. Isaiah chapter 2, verse 1. The word that Isaiah, the son of Amos, saw concerning Judah and Jerusalem. When he's talking about Judah and Jerusalem, he's talking about us scattered to the four corners of the earth. You so-called black people who are been scattered from one end of the earth to the other because of the transatlantic and Arab slave trade. You are Judah and Jerusalem that is talking about right here. Excuse me. And it shall come to pass that in the last days, so this is a future prophecy. Again, this is a future prophecy. And it shall come to pass in the last days that the mountain of the Lord's house shall be established in the top of the mountains and shall be exalted above the hills, and all nations shall flow unto it. So when you right here, when you see the nations, the mountains and the hills, this is talking about the mountain of the Lord's house. It's us. It's the children of Israel. And when we talk about these other mountains and these other hills, it's talking about the other nations, right? But look what these other nations will be doing. And all nations shall flow unto it. All these nations will be flowing unto the mountain of the Lord's house, right? Of the Lord. Verse 3. And many people shall go and say, come, let us go up to the mountain of the Lord, to the house of the God of Jacob. And he will teach us of his ways, and we will walk in his paths. For out of Zion shall go forth the law and the word of the Lord from Jerusalem. And he shall judge among the nations and shall rebuke many people. And they shall beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore. So this is what's going to happen when the other nations are going to see us when we come back to our rightful state as a nation of kings and priests, and we reign according to the Most High God's laws, statutes, and commandments. That's when what we read in Zechariah chapter 8, where he said all these different nations are going to come and they're going to hold on to us and say, man, we're going to follow you because we know God is with you. This is the same thing that Isaiah is seeing. He's having the same vision where he's seeing all these nations come to the children of Israel, come to these black folks and say, hey, you know what? We want to learn of God, and we know that he's with you. Teach us their laws and your commandments. Teach us how to be right according to God, right? And what's going to happen as a result of that is go to verse 4, Isaiah chapter 2, verse 4, and he says, and he shall judge among the nations. So he's going to put Israel above the nations, right? And shall rebuke many people. And we're going to rebuke them, meaning we're going to correct them, right? And they shall beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks. So we're going to take their weapons of war and we're going to make them into farming utensils. No more war, man. We don't need that no more. We're going to make it so that we need more food. We need more fruits. We need more vegetables. We need clean water. We need clean air. We need animals to grow naturally so that way we can get all the vitamins and minerals and the nutrients from the land and our proteins and stuff from the animals that we're supposed to get so we can get clean water so our bodies can be fresh and strong and live and have better quality lives. So he's saying that we're going to, when they come to us, when we are back in our rightful state as a nation of kings and priests, when the world becomes ours, right? When we are ruling that world, we're going to rebuke these nations. We're going to, say, no, they're going to come to us and then we're going to rebuke them. And in that rebuke, they're going to say, oh, we've been doing this wrong. Why do I have this M16? Why do I got this AK-47? Why do I have these bombs? Why do I have this tank right here? And instead, we're going to change those things into farming utensil. This is what it means when he says, and he shall judge among the nations and shall rebuke many people. We're going to be telling them like, no, y'all don't need that stuff. That's destroying the earth. That's destroying each other, right? And they shall beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks. They're going to make their weapons into farming utensils. And nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore. So when we come into power, when we rule this planet, it's not going to be that anymore. It's not going to be any need for that anymore, right? Watch. Let's stay in the Old Testament. We go to Micah, the book of Micah, chapter 4. In verse 1. Now Micah is having the same vision. Watch. The book of Micah, chapter 4, verse 1. But in the last days it shall come to pass that the mountain of the house of the Lord shall be established in the top of the mountains, and it shall be exalted above the hills, and the people shall flow into it. Remember that the mountains and the hills represents peoples, right? So the mountain of the house of the Lord is the children of Israel. You so-called black people scattered to the four corners of the earth because of the transatlantic and Arab and Indian slave trade. You are the mountain of the house of the Lord. You are the nation of Israel. You are the children of Israel. When he talks about Judah and Jerusalem, when he talks about the northern and southern kingdom, when he talks about the Jews, he's talking about us. We are those true people, right? So he's saying that the mountain of the house of the Lord shall be established in the top of the mountain. So we'll be established above the other people. And it shall be exalted above all the hills, and people shall flow unto it. So the people will come to us. And what's going to happen? And many nations shall come and say, come, let us go up to the mountain of the Lord, to those Israelites, and to the house of God of Jacob, and he will teach us of his ways, and we will walk in his paths. And the law shall go forth of Zion, and the word of the Lord from Jerusalem. And he shall judge and rebuke, and he shall judge among many people and rebuke strong nations afar off. So all over the world, we're going to be rebuking and correcting these nations. And they shall beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks. A nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore. But this is what we're going to be doing. We're going to be putting everything in order. When we come back to our true selves, then the world will be ours, and we will rule over this world according to righteousness, according to the law, statutes, and commandments of the Father. They will be coming to us for guidance, they'll be coming to us for guidance, for correction, for protection, for direction, for knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Right? Let's go to Revelation 21, the book of Revelation, chapter 21. I know some of y'all are like, well, he only coming out the Old Testament. No, that ain't true. I didn't hit y'all with some revelation to begin with, right? But let's keep going. I hit you with some 2 Peter as well. So no, it's balanced. Revelation chapter 21 and verse 10. And it reads thus. And he carried me away in the spirit to a great and high mountain, and showed me that great city, the holy Jerusalem, descended out of heaven from God. So you see what's happening right here. The holy city is coming down, right? And what's going to happen? Verse 12. And had a wall great and high, and 12 gates. So we know that the 12 gates is for the children of Israel to go through, for the 12 tribes of Israel to go through. Watch. And had a wall great and high, and had 12 gates. and at the gate 12 angels, and the names written thereon, which are the names of the 12 tribes of the children of Israel. So it's easily, you know who these gates are, who you know who are going in through each gate. If you're from Judah, then you're going through the Judah gate. If you're Benjamin, you're going through the Benjamin gate. If you're Ephraim, you're going through the Ephraim gate, and so on and so forth, right? Let's skip to verse 24. This is Revelation 21, verse 24. And the nations of them which are saved shall walk in the light of it, and the kings of the earth do bring their glory and honor it. So they're going to come to us, and they're going to walk in the light of the law of that we're going to share with them, of the righteousness that we're going to correct them in. What is that law and that righteousness that we're going to be correcting them? Proverbs 6 and 20, 6 and 23. Let's get it. What is that like? This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 6, verse 23. For the commandment is a lamp, and the law is light, and reproof of instructions are the way of life. So if you notice, he said that we're going to reproof the nations, right? How are we going to reproof them? With the law, with the light, right? It's going to give them instruction. Watch this. Let's go to Psalm 19. Psalm 19, verse 7. The law of the Lord is perfect, converting the soul. What does it mean to convert? It means to change. So it's changed. The law of the Lord is perfect. It changes the soul. The testimony of the Lord is sure, making wise the simple. The statutes of the Lord are right. So this is what's right. This is the statutes and the laws are what's right. He says, rejoicing the heart. The commandment of the Lord is pure, enlightening the eyes. So once one becomes enlightened, what does it do? It changes them. It converts their soul. So verse 8 is complementing verse 7, right? So when you read in verse 20, Revelation 21 and verse 26, or 24, excuse me, it says, and the nation of them which are saved. So some of them, not all of them will be saved. Some of these people from some of these nations will be saved. Not all of the nations, some of them, right? Which are saved shall walk in the light of it. They're going to walk in the laws that the Most High have given. But they're going to get those laws from the priest. Exodus 19, verses 5 and 6, and 2 Peter, verse 2 and 5. And Revelation 1, verses 5 and 6, and Revelation 5 and 10. We already read that the children of Israel are those priests, right? That's what we started off with. They're going to walk in the light. And the kings of the earth, so the kings of these nations, what are they going to do? The kings of the earth do bring their glory unto it. Watch, drop down to verse 26. And they shall bring the glory and honor of the nations unto it. What would the glory and honor of other nations be? Let's find out. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 60. Isaiah 60. I'm going to go to verse 3. This is the book of Isaiah chapter 60, verse 3, and it reads as thus. And the Gentiles shall come to thy light, and kings to the brightness of thy rising. So they're going to come to us when we're in the righteousness of the law. They're going to see that light on us, and they're going to come to us, right? Drop down. Stay in Isaiah chapter 60. Drop down to verse 5. The book of Isaiah chapter 60, verse 5, and it reads thus. Then thou shalt see and flow together, and thine heart shall fear and be enlarged, because the abundance of the sea shall be converted unto thee. The forces of the Gentiles shall come unto thee. So when it's saying the abundance of the sea shall be converted, it's not talking about the ocean. It's not talking about the seas. It's talking about a sea of people, millions and thousands of millions of thousands of people, right? It's talking about masses and masses and masses of people. So many is considered a sea of people. Because look, a sea cannot be converted. Sea can't be changed. The sea is going to do what it's going to do. If it's blowing this way, it's blowing this way. If it's blowing this way, it's blowing this way. If it's blowing that way, it's blowing that way. We can't convert the sea, right? So look what he's saying. Thou shalt see and flow together. He's talking about all of us scattered to the four corners of the earth. We're going to flow together. We're going to become one, right? He says, and thine heart shall fear and be enlarged, because the abundance of the sea shall be converted. They're going to change. Something's going to happen where it's going to click in their mind, and they're going to say, you know what? We got to go to those Israelites. We got to get with them. We got to submit to what they're saying. We're gonna got to submit to their teachings, right? Because they have the light. They are such a righteous, a wise, and understanding people. Y'all go read Deuteronomy chapter 4. Deuteronomy chapter 4, verses 4 through 8, and you're going to understand what I'm quoting when I say that. The nations will look at us and say, we're a wise and understanding people. What people are like them? This is what's happening right here, right? So they're going to be converted unto thee. The forces of the Gentile shall come unto thee. What is the forces of the Gentile? Let's keep going. Verse 6, the multitude of camels shall cover thee. That's money. The dromedaries, the Midian, and Ephah, and all they from Sheba shall come. They shall bring gold and incense, and they shall show forth the praises of Yahweh. So he's talking about money. When you have a lot of camels, that's money back in those days. That's money, right? And the dromedaries, right? Let me see. Make sure I give some understanding. Dromedaries. A dromedary is it's an Arabian camel. So it's talking about different kind of camels. So this is the different money we're going to have. We're going to have animals to sell, animals to travel with, right? Animals for skins, right? It says Midian and Ephah. What is an Ephah? Let's find out. So it's a measure of something, right? So he says we're going to have an ephah, and all they from Sheba, which is Ethiopia, shall come. They shall bring gold and incense. So they're going to be giving us their gold. Incense is a spice that you sell as well, right? And they shall show forth the praises of the Lord. Reading on, verse 7. All the flocks of Kedar, this is another Arab country, Kedar, shall be gathered together unto thee. They're going to give us their flocks. The rams of Nebaioth shall minister unto thee. They're going to give us their rams. They shall come up with acceptance of mine altar, and I will glorify the house of my glory. So he's talking about us. He's going to glorify. We are the house of his glory. You so-called black people scattered to the four corners of the earth. The Most High is going to bless us beyond our wildest dreams, right? And I know it don't make sense right now, but these camels and these dromedaries, that's money. The ephahs of gold, that's money, right? Then he says, flocks, that's money. Together unto them the rams, that's money, shall minister unto thee. Verse 7. They shall come up with acceptance of mine altar, and I will glorify the house of my glory. We are the house of his glory, right? Drop down to verse 9. Surely the isles shall wait for me. The isles is talking about the isles of the Gentiles. So it's talking about the Romans and the Greeks and the Spaniards, right? Surely the isles shall wait for me, and the ships of Tarshish first, to bring my sons from far, their silver and their gold with them. So he's bringing so Tarshish represents Spain, and so the Spaniards will be bringing bringing our people back. And when they bring our people back, they're going to be bringing their silver and their gold with them unto the name of Yahweh our God, and to the Holy One of Israel, because he hath glorified thee. Right? Just look. We're going to keep reading. Verse 10, and the sons of the strangers shall build up thy walls. So that their children will be rebuilding and building our cities and our states and our countries. And their king shall minister unto thee. Minister means to take care of, to serve you, right? They're going to serve you. When Christ was tempted after fasting 40 days and 40 nights when he was tempted by the devil, at the end of his temptation, when Christ rebuked him, it says that the angels ministered unto him, and they served him. They brought him food and water, right? They served him. So it says, and the sons of the stranger shall build up their walls. They're going to be building our cities and our states and our countries, our libraries and our schools and our homes, right? And their king shall minister unto thee. They'll be serving us. For in my wrath I have smote thee, but in my favor have I had mercy on thee. So yeah, he put us through slavery, and he here in America, we went through slavery, and then we went through we had to go through sharecropping, Jim Crow, civil rights, even up to this day. Where we got the Black Lives Matter movement, and I know that some of these exact same things, and in some cases even worse, have happened to our people on other places in this on this planet, right? So he's saying that in his wrath he smote us, but in his favor he's going to have mercy on us. Is he not having mercy on us when he's making these other nations give us their gold and their silver? When he's making these other nations give us their animals for money? When he's making these other nations and their sons build our cities and our towns, our schools, our libraries, our hospitals, right? When he's making their kings be servants unto us. Excuse me. Skip down to verse 11. He says, therefore thy gates shall be open continually. Our gates are going to always be open. Why? They shall not be shut day or night, that men may bring unto thee the forces of the Gentiles. What's the force of the Gentiles? Their money, their gold, their silver, their services, their work, right? And that the kings may be brought. Verse 12. Nope, we're going to drop down to, verse 12. For the nation and kingdom that will not serve thee shall perish. Yea, those nations shall be utterly wasted. You can't get around this. If they don't want to serve us, they don't want to come learn from us, they don't want to come be under us, then the Most High is going to smite them and they're going to perish. You know what it means to perish? It means to spoil, to die, to be destroyed, to be corrupted, right? So he's saying that the nation and kingdom that will not serve us, they're going to be, that nation shall surely, those nations shall be utterly wasted. The nation that will not serve thee shall perish. This is what's going to happen to them who don't want to serve us. The world is your so-called black man scattered to the four corners of the earth, but we have to come back to our God. We have to come back to our true custom, our true culture. I'm not talking about religion. Our true custom and culture, just the way the Most High God gave it to us in these scriptures, right? Let's read on. Let's drop down to verse 14. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 60, verse 14. The sons of all them that afflicted thee shall come bending unto thee. And all they that despise thee shall bow themselves at the soles of thy feet. And they shall call thee the city of the Lord. So remember when I read in Micah and Isaiah, he was calling us his mountain. This is what this is referring to, the same thing. He's calling us what? And they shall call thee the city of the Lord, the Zion of the Holy One of Israel. So this is exactly, who he's referring to us in Isaiah 2 and in in Micah 4, when he's calling us his holy mountain. When the people are saying we're going to go because the law is coming out of Zion. What does he say in verse 14? The Zion of the Holy One. This is what they're going to call us, right? Drop down to verse 18. Verse 18, and it reads thus: violence shall no more be heard in thy land, wasting nor destruction within thy borders. But thou shalt call thy walls salvation and thy gates praise. Because through us, see, the other nations these religions are teaching it wrong. The nations get salvation through the children of Israel. The Most High gave the children of Israel Christ so that they can have salvation. We had to have an example of how we were supposed to be, so that way we can provide the salvation to the Gentiles, so that we can be the light to the Gentiles. But we had to see our big brother, our Messiah, Yahushua HaMashiach, who y'all may call Jesus Christ. We had to see how he did it. We had to see him walk in the laws and the commandments. We had to see him show us faith, grace, and love according to the commandments. Not according to the standard that we were being, not according to the religious standard that we were being taught, but according to the standard the Most High set up for us from the very beginning, right? Let's move around. So let's stay in Isaiah chapter 60. Let's go to verse 12 real quick. We already read verse 12, excuse me. Let's go to Isaiah 14, Isaiah 14. The book of Isaiah chapter 14. I'm going to start at verse 1. This is the book of Isaiah chapter 14, verse 1. For Yahweh will have mercy on Jacob and will yet choose Israel and set them in their own land. So this is going to be an end time prophecy. He's going to have mercy on us. He already chose us to be his people. He already chose us to be his servant. He already chose us to be his witness. He chose us to be lights to the Gentile. He chose us to be a nation of kings and priests. We already went over all these scriptures, right? So he chose us, right? For the Lord will have mercy on Jacob and will yet choose Israel and set them in their own land. And the stranger shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. And so we already understand that. Most people, when they see this, they say it's going to be cleaved to them. They think that that means that they're going to be as them. It doesn't mean that they're going to be as them. It means that they're going to cleave to them. They're going to hold to them, saying, teach us, lead us, guide us, direct us, rule over us. You're going to have this righteous law. You're going to have this righteous and good law and these righteous and good commandments. You be over us. You show us how we're supposed to be right according to God, right? That's what we read earlier in Zechariah chapter 8, verse 23. That's what we read earlier in Isaiah chapter 2, verses 1 through 4. Micah chapter 4, verses 1 through 3. This is what we read in Revelation chapter 21, verses 10, 12, 24, and I believe 26. This is what we're dealing with. So understand when it says that they will cleave unto them and they'll be joining unto them, it doesn't mean that they'll be the same. It means that they will be, we just read in Isaiah 60 that the Gentiles are going to be servants unto us. It doesn't mean that they're going to be slaves. We're going to beat their skin off their back, because we already read where he explains it in verse 12 that the nations that's going to resist us, they're going to be utterly wasted and they're going to perish. We're going to destroy them. But the nations who are willing to submit, they're going to say, teach us, because we know God is with you. That's what we read in Zechariah chapter 8, right? So not that they'll be the same as us, not that. No, not the same as us. It's going to be a different hierarchy. It doesn't mean that we'll be mistreating them or abusing them, right? For the Lord will have mercy on Jacob and will yet choose Israel and set them in their own land. So we'll be going back to our own land, and the strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. And the people shall take them and bring them to their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord for servants and handmaids, and they shall take them captives, who captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors. This is what we're going to be doing. We're going to be ruling over the people who oppressed us. We just read where we'll be ruling over them. They'll be their kings will be ministers. What I say minister means to be servant. That their sons will be building up our walls, will be building our land, right? That they're going to be giving us their gold and their silver, right? This is what we read. So this is the same thing. We'll be ruling over our oppressors, right? And so let me get this last one, and I'm gonna let y'all go. Let's go to 2 Chronicles chapter 7, verse 14. But in order for us to achieve that, it's some things that we need to do. It's some things that we need to do so we can obtain our natural status as a nation of kings and priests, right? 2 Chronicles chapter 7, and I'm gonna go to verse 14. This is what the Most High God says. If my people, which are called by my name, you so-called black people scattered to the four corners of the earth because of the transatlantic, Arab, and Indian slave trade, you are called by his name. You are the children of Israel. You are the children of Jacob. You are his saints. You are Zion. You are Judah. You are Jerusalem. We are his children. We are his representatives, his ambassadors, his examples that are supposed his messengers on this earth to the rest of the world, to the rest of the nations. And the only way we obtain that is if we come back and keep his commandments, right? Look at what he says. We are called by his name. If my people, which are called by my name, shall humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways. How do we seek his face? You seek his face by trying to find out what his law says, what his commandment says. What does he approve of, and what does he not approve of? What does he disapprove of? What does he like? What does he dislike? How do we worship him according to him? What is right according to him? What is good according to him, right? Then will I hear from heaven and will forgive their sins and will heal their land. What is their land? Our land is our people. Healing our land is returning us back to our true people. We're returning back to our true state, right? This is what we have to do. This is how it happens. There's no other way around it. The Most High chose us to be this. The world is ours, but the only way we can claim that, only way we can rule that, only way we're going to be at our natural state, only way we're going to have and stop working these 9-to-5s and have them serving us and working for us. And the only way we're going to rule over our oppressors is if we come back to his law, statutes, and commandments. That's the only way. This is why he says, if my people which are called by my name shall humble themselves, we got to humble ourselves. We go to these different religious institutions and we learn what that religion says, but we don't learn what the scripture actually says. We learn what our pastor says, but we don't learn what the scripture says. We know what Big Mama say or our grandfather say. Guess what? We know what different people say. Yeah, you know what? The Bible was taken from this or that. Okay, well, great. Even if it was, them commandments in there and them laws in there, that's actually our custom and our culture. That's how we used to live. Go look at it. You're not going to find error in the commandments. People want to say, well, this story was stolen from here. Fine. What does the commandment say? Have you thought about that? Have you considered where's the error in this scripture? Where is the error in the guidance and the direction that is given? Or you want to point out something so that a lot of us want to point out something so that we can be exalted, saying that this person knows this or knows that. But what did he say? If we humble ourselves, right, and praise and seek his face, seeking his face is just finding out the do's and don'ts. That's really what it is. We arguing over who came first and who had this story or who they took it from. No, humble ourselves and find out what does the Father say? What does the Father feel about LGBTQ? What does the Father feel about Christmas or Easter or Thanksgiving or Halloween? What does the Father say about us eating these unclean foods? What does the Father say about us running around in fornication all the time? What does the Father say about us voting for these politicians and their different politics? What is the scripture? What is the commandments? Or what are these laws that we're supposed to govern ourselves? What is our culture on those things? Because it's in the scripture. It's right there. No matter what you want to say, you Yoruba, you Igbo, you want to say, even I know a lot of people who are in the voodoo and Santeria and all those different things, and even then they still refer to the commandments, they still refer to the Most High God, but they want to add all this other stuff to it. Nah, what are the commandments? What do the laws say? What is the statement on that there? And this is why he said we got to humble ourselves and come back to him. This is a really short lesson. I pray that it was good. I pray that it planted the seed or tilled the ground or watered the plant, but as always, the Most High gives and gets the increase. I'm your brother Gabar. This is Intelligent Hebrew. Of course, I give all honor and praise and glory to the Father, and I take none for myself. With that, I'm going to say shalom, y'all. Peace.